20 years in legal education and 9 years as dean have taught me a few things about law students. One thing that's true about every law student I've ever taught is they all come to law school with a dream. Those dreams may be different. Our goal is to match those dreams with the opportunities that we can create for them by being the nation's best return investment in legal education. What does that mean? That means training students for the opportunities that await them in the marketplace, in doing so at a reasonable cost. Right now at the University of Georgia Law School, nearly 50% of our student body are getting their legal education debt-free. At a time when many American families worry about the ever-spiraling costs of higher education debt, we aim not just to bend that arc, but to break it altogether, and thereby to redefine in 21st century what it means to be a great national public institution. But don't just take my word for it. I invite you now to hear from 3 of our students and how they're living their dreams today.
My interest in domestic violence work really started in a high school year-long independent research study where I was volunteering in a domestic violence shelter. And through that, I started to kind of develop an interest in the dynamics of domestic violence, why and how it happened, and wanted to develop the skill set and have the agency to make effective change. And the law degree seemed like the way to do that.
I lost both of my grandparents within 12 hours of each other, and they both lived in the villages in northern New Mexico. And when I went back and I was at my paternal grandmother's funeral, I realized that a lot of the people in my generation had either left, like a brain drain, they had either died from overdosing, or were trying to chase dreams somewhere else. And I thought, I can't let this die. I have to do something to bring my legal education back and help this maintain and sustain.
My parents and my grandparents were very civically engaged. My mom and my grandfather started a Boys and Girls Club when I was very young. My dad is a pastor and a vice principal, and so they're all about community. It made me want to choose a career where I could give back to my community like my family did, and that really inspired me to be a lawyer.
I chose UGA because I was looking really for a school specifically with programming focused on public service and public interest law. And UGA, throughout the admissions process and from everything I learned, really demonstrated that it checked all of those boxes in a very holistic and true and genuine way. So I knew I probably wanted to stay in the Southeast, but wanted the ability to kind of go anywhere in the country. I was interested in an affordable legal education, so it became clear to me pretty early on that it seemed like the best fit for me.
At UGA School of Law, you are getting a top-tier education for a very reasonable price. We have some of the highest bar passage rates, some of the best job placements, and that is all because of the resources that the school invests with its students and for its students.
Seeing the money and the resources here when I first got here, it's a little overwhelming, but when you realize it's here to help you, it's really empowering and a nice feeling to be that supported.
I have developed a really amazing relationship with the Family Justice Clinic director, and she has just been the best mentor. She has been amazing in teaching me what it means to be an effective advocate, what it means to be a public interest attorney, but she's also advocated for me. I have my full-time postgraduate job because of her.
My most monumental moment at UGA Law would be getting a clerkship. I'm so grateful for the professors at UGA who encouraged me to apply and who told me that this would be something that I would be able to do. And I'm so excited that it will be with an alumnus from UGA Law.
You're going to be in school with senators, congresspeople, maybe a president, maybe a cabinet member, maybe folks end up being one of those big lawyers on commercials one day. It's really about the people around you, because that legal education you get anywhere, but that one-on-one authenticity that I feel University of Georgia has is what really makes it special.
At the end of the day, I can always be an example to someone else back in rural South Georgia, that they can go and do the same thing that I did, go to law school and go and try to make a difference, and then perhaps they'll get even further than I did.
Long term, I want to open up a community legal aid help center in northern New Mexico because it's a legal desert. In particular, I'm going to work with community organizations on the ground and just do basic things like divorce, child custody, Social Security, disability, and Veterans Affairs stuff.
I think being a public interest attorney means walking alongside someone in a really vulnerable, really difficult part of their life. You have an opportunity to provide hope, to provide safety, to provide justice, to provide healing. I think it's something that gets taken for granted and is a really amazing opportunity that you have to use your JD to advocate for meaningful change.